Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyrone Milade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is July 23rd, 2019, and I was just sitting here. It's in the morning, working on just my daily check-off and working to make sure I structure a day that's supportive of the lifestyle that I want to live. And y'all know I'm all about the spiritual practices. And so I'm sitting here knowing I need to get up and do my spiritual practices. I just was working on one of my courses, one of the ones I'm taking, and one of the very things that was brought up is self-sabotage. And we're supposed to look at how do we sabotage ourselves. And I'm just really cracking up at myself because I'm sitting here like, oh, I just want to go on ahead and just start getting done with everything. Now, y'all know I'm not, because I've been down that path of skipping the spiritual practice. But I was like, wow, what a great example. Because I have identified my spiritual practices as essential. They are more important probably than anything I do in my life, waking up and starting my day out with my spiritual practices. And so I just said I wanted to log on and talk briefly about how one of the lessons I've learned as someone who is really in the school of Haru is that we live by choice. And there was a book I read years ago, and it's called Sacred Contracts by Caroline Mace. In this book, there's many archetypes, but there's four primary archetypes: the wounded child, the prostitute, the saboteur, and I think the other one is the victim. Yeah, I think the other one is the victim. And yeah, it's the victim. So just learning from that book, okay, so these four basic archetypes, she was saying all of us have. The archetypes manifest positively and they manifest negatively. And so those are like negative sides, or you think of those names, those are the negative sides. Um, and then the flip to those, and in particular, I'm talking about sabotage, self-sabotage, is choice. And that is Haru. That is Shango. That is the lesson right there. And so it's something that I have learned to accept that if I'm sabotaging myself, as a matter of fact, I don't even sabotage myself. I just accept I'm not willing to do what I know I need to do. Because when it's self sabotage, you feel like a victim. It's like, oh, why can't I get this done? And why can't I get that done? And so, like, here lately with working on losing this extra weight that I picked up, and it being very, like, it seems like it's never going to happen some days. When I went through that first 12 weeks of metabolic renewal, I really had to just accept I didn't do everything that man told me to do. Like, yeah, my weight, it really wasn't up or down. It had fluctuated the whole time, but in the end, the weight was a wash. And I will say I lost inches because I did a lot of what he said to do. I did make that choice, but I didn't do everything that he said to do. And so I told myself, you're not gonna cry. You're not gonna be a victim. You're not gonna no. If you really want to see does this program work, and you know it does, because like I said, my weight was up and down, then you need to do everything. So it's like we have to realize that we live by choice, whether we do it via the saboteur or we consciously make this choice. And so any place that we want to go, it's really a series of choices. And but the flip side that we have to also remember is that we do have an aspect of ourselves, and I call it the ego, that would prefer for us to keep the status quo. It's a part of being human. We have an ego because we are in human form. And this is one of the reasons that I talk about needing to spiritualize our ego. Because when we spiritualize our ego, we bring it on board to what, our higher selves, our destiny is calling for us to do, be, and have. We remove the seat of power from the ego and put it in the hands of our higher selves. And we allow ourselves to be guided by wisdom. We allow ourselves to be guided by that aspect of ourselves, our ser selves, by that wisdom of Obatala. We allow the goddess wisdom up on high to be what leads, guides, and directs us instead of the ego. And we give the ego a job. We tell the ego, we could not do this without you. And so we're going to tell you what we want you to express. And when I say we, I'm just talking about all of this that's in here. We're going to tell you what we want you to express. All right. And it's going to be beautiful. Like this is what you really want. This is how I've talked to my own ego. Um, because if we don't spiritualize that ego, then what ends up happening is that ego likes status quo. It likes to be where it is. And that's why I tell people you need to accept you're getting something out of being in your mess, in mediocrity. I can say this because I know. It's a safe place. You know it. This is why we stay there. And so anytime we decide we're going to start moving forward, we do have to acknowledge we have an inner saboteur. But the flip side of the saboteur is choice. And so there are times when I know maybe right now I don't have the mental capacity to do something. So I had contact. Well, I didn't even contact. I was just commenting on this trainer's post on Instagram. And the next thing I know, it turns into a conversation of, well, going ahead and sign up and we'll do an interview to get you to, see what kind of coaching we can do for you. And after a while, I thought about it and I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. I mean, I wasn't even coming to you for that. I was just coming in on your freaking Instagram post. Um, and I probably could benefit from having a trainer. But I know I'm not ready for that level of intimacy, especially with somebody I don't really know. Plus, I'm making inroads with the metabolic renewal. I'm like, no, that's all right. I know I'm gonna pay you some money, and it's gonna be a waste of my money, right? I know mentally, emotionally, I don't even know you. So I just told him because he just kept following up with me, and I'm like, dang, I see why you successful, bruh. The fortune is in the follow up. He was real nice about it or whatever. But, I finally just told him, I don't want to waste your time. I wasn't even coming to you for this. So I'm passing. I just said I'm passing. But I knew it was because mentally and emotionally, I'm not here for this right now. That's not what my focus is. But if we don't think of things in that way, then, the next thing we know, we say we want a thing and we buy a program, or maybe it's, yeah, or we say we want a goal, we want to go somewhere, and we set a goal of some sort, and because we haven't had this discussion with our ego, because to a certain degree we are afraid and we are a little more comfortable with where we are, but it makes us feel good to be going for something, and then we sabotage ourselves so that we're like, oh, it didn't work out. We have to do something about that when we're really ready to start moving forward. So I just encourage you to not sabotage yourself and instead just say, you know what, I'm making the choice to stay where I am right now because I'm getting a lot from it. It's, I like this bad habit that I have. I know it's wrecking my life, but this is where I want to be right now. That is a place of power. I know it doesn't sound like it is. It doesn't sound like it makes sense. But I had to do that. I had to say, you know what? I really have accepted there's something in me right now that, maybe I was just way too busy with my kids, because that's something I've noticed. If I'm super busy in mom mode and family woman mode, I don't like to start stuff and can't finish it, or it's like too choppy. And so, I just don't start. So at first, I was just totally sabotaging myself. And then after a while, I started saying, you know what? I hate where I am right now. And I will make efforts to baby step my way to a place of being ready, but I ain't ready. I'm just gonna stay where I am. And it's less emotionally stressful when we don't do this sabotage thing, but live from choice. So, if you are needing to move past your inner saboteur, I encourage you to call on the energy of Haru. Y'all, look, I don't like it when y'all think this thing is like so serious or whatever, because I keep telling y'all, Haru is in you. Haru is everywhere. Haru Shango. You have to just say, Haru Shango, help me make make the choices that I need to make. Help me to be a good leader in my own life. And then, and I recently, well, I haven't released it publicly. I released it to my inner circle first, and then I will release it to, my YouTube channel publicly. I put out a video on awareness. And when we walk aware, after we call on Haru Shango to help us to be a good leader and to make choices instead of doing the self-sabotage thing, we walk aware so that we can see where Haru Shango is leading us to. And then it might be we find a book of some sort. We might find a YouTube video, a podcast. We might have a conversation with somebody about this helped me to move past self-sabotage. This helped me to be a better leader in my life. This is how the Orisha, the Neter, our guides, work with us. We have to say, I need help, put it out there, and then be aware. That's our superpower. Awareness, consciousness. That's one of our superpowers as humans. We can be conscious. We can be aware of the very thing. I may not know anything. I may not know what to do. But if I put the call for help out there and I'm open to seeing, okay, what does the universe bring to me? Then, it's going to come. That's if I'm not playing this little self-sabotage game with myself. So, y'all, come on, let's do this. Let's be more aware of how we sabotage ourselves and make the choice to realize that we can make that choice to actually have what we want in our lives. I'm not. Sometimes I struggle with Christianity these days. I really do, because the representation of Christianity on a larger scale is terrible. But I will say there's one scripture, and I'm not good at quoting scripture, that I think is like, for those of us raised up in the Christian tradition, this scripture is on point, and it's it's something to the effect of, I didn't. You ain't here to be poor. You're here to prosper, to be abundant. And prosperity and abundance is money, but more than that, it's that inner peace. It's that feeling good about yourself. It's having self-worth and self-value. We were not put here to suffer. Despite what everybody thinks, that's not our purpose. You can have it as your purpose, but that's not your purpose. All right? So you need to really get yourself in that place of realizing you really and truly are here to be abundant, to recognize yourself as the great divine consciousness itself. We call this energy a lot of times God. Would anybody think God was not valuable? Lacked worth? Anyone who believes in God. I know other folks got other stuff going on. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about those who believe in a higher power. It was the reason we say it's a higher power, and that we want to connect with this higher power. And we call it on spirit. We call it on the mother. We call it on, on the Lord. It's a reason. It's because this energy is great. And if you don't know that you have come here to recognize that that's who you are, then yeah, it's going to seem like you don't deserve abundance. You don't deserve anything good. But you know what? Stop agreeing with that. Don't agree with that anymore. Break up with that notion and just be open to the truth of who and what you are so that you can finally get that thing done because you deserve that. You came here for such a time as this. This is Tyrone Milade. I hope that this has helped you. I love you. I care about you. And I give thanks that the mothers, my guides, have charged me with sharing messages like this because they don't want to see us down and out. And they know that you can hear and that I can, they're bringing me in to be that confirmation that what you think about yourself, the greatness, the wonder, the glory that you are is in fact true. Please like the video, share the video, and know that if you would like to get divination to learn more about your purpose, maybe you have a question about things that are going on in your life, and you're not quite sure which direction to go, and you would like some wisdom to help you make the decision, I would love to do a reading for you. Just go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. And for those of you who are looking for a guide, you would like divination, or you want to learn more about this spiritual thing that you've encountered, um, be it Afro, be it metaphysics, be it goddess tradition, or all of the above and beyond, because I have no limits on myself when it comes to studies or whatever, then you might want to consider joining my inner circle. It is at patreon.com/goddess body mind spirit. And it might be that you are just like, girl, you got to keep making these videos. That's my $5 level right there, just $5. That will give you first access to the videos, and also there are things that I put in for the Patreon inner circle, no matter what the level is, that is just for them. Patreon exclusives is what I call them. So yeah, y'all think about it, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'm cheering for you to live life by consciously making choices that are in your best interest. Love you. Peace.